All right. One of the biggest things we are passionate about is helping entrepreneurs excel and achieve great things in their business and life, and to be able to be super focused, motivated, and confident in what they're doing. All right. You would have received this, guys. You guys have downloaded this. We're going to be discussing this. What is this? This is the exact same system or part of the system that we use to help entrepreneurs get real clarity around their lives, get confident, get motivated, and get hyper-focused, right? This is the exact same system that we've been using to help countless other entrepreneurs all over the place get really engaged and be able to be more effective in their businesses and in their lives, right? Before we get started, I want to touch on this context, right? Now, productivity versus effectiveness. For us, productivity is a myth, right? Is not really something that we want to be aspiring towards. So many people are out there in their businesses working towards being more productive, trying to get more stuff done, trying to be so pumped about getting their check boxes and their to-do lists done that they're so fixated on it to get as much as possible fitted into a day that they lose the whole value of the day and they waste a lot of their time. Our whole model or our whole structure is really about creating effectiveness. Effectiveness is the key to having successful business and to being able to run a successful operation, right? Effectiveness is being able to get the best results with the least amount of effort, right? That's really where we all want to be operating in effectiveness. Effectiveness is leverage. Leverage is power. Leverage gives you the freedom. Leverage gives you the ability to be more effective in your life, and it's what we want to be working towards. Productivity is just trying to get a whole lot of things done in a specific period of time. That's not how businesses should operate. That's not how we as entrepreneurs who work from home should be operating. So I just wanted to put that in context. And just before we get started, I want to touch on this idea of a meaning, right? The meaning of what we're trying to work towards today and the meaning of calm. Calm for an entrepreneur is critical. It's one of the most important contexts that we can be working towards in our daily lives, right? And calm, what does calm mean? Calm is the ability to have awareness and be in control of your emotions, to master overwhelm and distraction with more confidence, to stay calm and helping others in face of any challenge, to stay calm and help others stay calm in the face of any challenge that arises while staying focused. This is emotional intelligence, right? And emotional intelligence is a vital component of being able to be focused, to be able to be in the game, be able to manage yourself and the people around you. So what do we get out of the session tonight, right? What we really help people with is this context. Sorry, let me just, whoever's joined us, hi Trace, welcome. I'm just gonna mute you. Thanks for joining. All right. So what we're going to get out of this training and what we deliver as a promise to the people that we help or our clients that we help is this, right? To be able to be in the moment. Being in the moment is a very powerful context, right? Being engaged with your family, with the people around you, with your people that work with you, for you, and being in the moment with what you're doing, right? Being in the moment is a very undervalued component of having success, right? Being able to accomplish more. Not getting more done, but being able to accomplish more in your life, achieving the goals that you want to achieve in life, right? Aspiring for high goals and being able to work towards getting them. Increasing happiness. We're a big component of happiness. You need to enjoy what you're doing. You need to feel good about what you're doing. Your mood needs to be increased and you need to be happy about all the decisions and the things that you do in life. And I know that's not always possible as an entrepreneur and working from home. Another component is physical performance. Now physical performance is a broad category, but we really help people to increase their physical performance because it's really important as part of being a peak performer to have your body and your mind working together in synchrony and being able to help you perform better and be that peak performer. The next level is having smarter decisions, being able to make smarter decisions. That's critical. So many people get confused, they're flustered, they feel foggy, they're overwhelmed, they're not sure about the decisions they're making. Well, we're helping people make smarter decisions. A big part of what we do as well is helping people problem solve better. When you can problem solve in your business and you're more effective at problem solving, and that's a skill that you can hone, that's a really powerful thing to aspire for, right? Heightened alertness, which is really important and critical, and to feel more fulfilled, right? When you're happy, when you're confident, when you're motivated, when you're focused, when you're engaged, when you're energized, these are great things to aspire for, not only in your business, but in the world around you, in your life, right? And if you can accomplish that, you're going to achieve so much more in your life, right? Feeling fulfilled is motivational and helps you achieve greater things. Here's the thing, a lot of us as entrepreneurs face these big struggles, right? And these are very big, powerful afflictions that hold us back, that prevent us from being better in our business, being better in our lives. One of them is a fear of failure. Fear of failure is a debilitating affliction. It holds us back, preventing us from actually taking action or doing things or, creating better outcomes. So this fear of failure, with a lot of our clients that come to us with this fear of failure, some people are in such a debilitating state that they're just stuck with procrastination, not being able to do anything, right? And that's a very, very sad state to be in. The next big context that a lot of us face as entrepreneurs is overwhelm, right? A lot of things come in our way. We've got all these things that we're trying to think of and do. We've got bills to pay. We've got family to look after. We've got all this things that we've got to be concerned about and worried about, and our days can be pumping with a lot of stuff happening, client meetings, tabs everywhere, notifications, emails, all the stuff that comes at us, and this overwhelm can be so debilitating, and it really zaps you of energy and makes you feel lethargic and deflated sometimes, and it can lead you into stress and depression. Ultimately, there's a big pandemic out there of people getting burned out. Burnout is one of the biggest problems that we face as entrepreneurs, right? And burnout is something that we can prevent. And in this day and age, not only do we have to deal with stress, but we have to deal with hyperstress, right? Hyperstress is that state where there's just so much happening that it's just wearing us down. It's relentless and consistent, right? Now, as entrepreneurs, we prescribe to these things. That's what's interesting, right? We prescribe. We kind of know that these things are part of the deal and part of the package. So we go out there and we sign ourselves up for this journey. We say, hey, I want to deal with overwhelm. I want to deal with deflation. I want to deal with fear of failure, because I know that I'm aspiring to do something better, right? And so the reason why we do all these things is quite obvious, I suppose, is that we're aspiring to be our own bosses, aspiring to have better lives, aspiring to achieve great things, aspiring to change the world maybe, right? We have these big aspirations to wanting to live a better life. And so we realize there's a context of having to work for that and earn that. And it's not a simple journey. And by prescribing to that, we are putting our mark on this world, saying we are entrepreneurs and we're ready to challenge the status quo, to be better, right? And to create better. But doing this journey means we're on a little obstacle course, right? I call it the brain obstacle course. And literally, entrepreneurship and business is an obstacle course. It's going down a pathway, and I imagine there's loads of obstacle courses, lots of big gigs going around. You've got Spartan races, you've got the Tough Mudder, all these obstacle course races that you can go on these days, which are pretty exciting. Here's the thing, right? You sign up for one of those obstacle courses, you're going to do a bit of training. You're going to do a bit of exercise, especially if you want to do well in these obstacle courses, right? There's a lot of competitiveness these days in these runs, right? And so when you go and sign up for it, you're going to say, well, I'm going to start working out so that I can do better at this obstacle course race and try and, maybe win a prize or get ahead of my friends or whatever it is, right? You're going to work out to do that. Because if you don't work out to do that, you're going to be coming last. And entrepreneurship is the same. We've got to practice and train, not only the skills that we have to learn, but we've got to train our brains. Our minds are the pivotal component to having success in real estate. Our brains are a necessity and a vital component to all of this. And so many people fail to take this very seriously, because when you don't look after your brain, everything that you're trying to accomplish is going to be working against you, right? Your brain is the best investment you can ever make in your business, in your life. If you can invest more in your brain to get your brain working at its best, to be firing at its best, then everything comes in line, in alignment. There's nothing that gives you a better ROI by far in the world than being able to invest in your brain. And we're a big component of that. Now, I know what a struggle it can be in business and in life. I've been down this path, been down this journey. And a few years ago, maybe 8 years ago, I was working in a job. I was working in this job that I was doing really well at. I was getting paid really well, but I didn't want to be there. I really hated the idea of working for somebody else, building somebody else's dream. And my passion was to create my own outcome, to have my own passion and to make my own journey happen, right? Just like most of you out here, it's about creating a better life for yourself, right? So I was stuck in this job for many years, going through a cycle of trying to get away from it, trying to do something better, but getting dragged back into it because I didn't have the ability or the energy, the motivation to break away, to break free. I kept going around in these vicious cycles, working in a job that I really didn't want to be in, right? Even though I was good at it at the time. But I had this idea that I wanted to stop working and start a side hustle, start a business, start my own business. And it was a struggle. I couldn't do it. I was overweight. My brain was foggy. I was constantly feeling overwhelmed and lethargic. I couldn't get a handle on my emotions. I couldn't get a handle on my energy levels. So I'd come home from work and I'd be wrecked. And most of the time, my job was high intensity and it would demanded a lot from me. So I got caught up in the cycle, and it wasn't a healthy cycle, and I wasn't able to break free. So like about 4 or 5 years, I was going around trying to break out of my job. I even quit a few times and ended up getting sucked back in and wasn't able to create an outcome. The biggest problem was that I was constantly feeling foggy. There was this foggy feeling, and then there was this overwhelm and deflation that was hanging over me for a long time. And you can see by the results that I had at that point, and I took these pictures as a purpose to one day be able to talk about this, because I was in a bad way. I was in a really bad state, and I wasn't happy with where I was at. And I was under the belief that there was an easy road. I'd told myself that there was this easy path. I could go and buy something magic potion and I would be able to have all this magic fluffy stuff happening for me. I just had to believe. I went to so many seminars that would, punt these ideas about how easy it is to get out there, and I would believe these ideas about going there and there was this magic pill, and one day I would have a magic pill and boom, I'd have all these magic things happening for me. But lo and behold, life is not like that, right? And we realize that as we grow into entrepreneurship, we got to put the effort in. But I got stuck in the struggle of doubt, overwhelm, and foggy brain for a long time. And I know a lot of entrepreneurs, because we get a lot of clients that come to us in these states that are struggling because of the way they've set up and structured their lives, right? So overwhelm, doubt, and a foggy brain is a serious, debilitating afflictions that hold so many people back. And I got stuck in this cloud for years and years and years, not being able to break free, and it was debilitating. It was tough. What happened was I ended up going down this path of taking pills, the easy path, right? Everyone wants to feel better, so we start taking pills, we start taking supplements, we start taking whatever the companies out there are punting to say we're going to feel amazing when we take these things. And so I started on that journey. I got hooked in. Started taking supplements, pills, energy drinks, all kinds of stuff that would try and get me energy so that I could perform better. Lo and behold, not realizing at the time that your body is a leaky bucket and it's got a tolerance, and that tolerance builds up. And over time, what happens is the more of these pills and supplements and stuff you take that they're telling you are magic pills and they're going to give you all the energy in the world, you end up getting to a state where you're feeling lower and lower, and you try and take more and more of the stuff to try and get onto your game and end up in a state of depression. I got so bad into depression sometimes where I'd have to just take whole days off. I couldn't function. I couldn't operate. I had to try and get the stuff out of my system to recover, to be functioning properly again. And this was a bad cycle to be in. And I know a lot of people that do this. They go get caught up in consuming a whole lot of pharmaceuticals to try and perform better. Only to realize, and this happens a lot because I speak to a lot of people that have done this, that they end up in a place where they're just depressed. There's no movement. There's no actual positive reaction. So I started looking for some smarter solutions out there. There's better ways, more natural ways to create an outcome for myself that could be reliable, and was born what we call today the butterfly method, right? And I went on this journey. This journey's been a solid, interesting and powerful journey for me. And what's happened is that I've been able to create a system. Now this is a model. Obviously we're talking about business and entrepreneurship, but for me, when I started on this journey, I wasn't really on the mission to lose weight or get into great shape. My mission was to get my brain operating at such a high performance mode that I could think clearer, I could have more energy, I could be motivated, focused, and confident. That's what I set out on the journey to start off. But what happened as a side effect of this was I was able to get myself into fantastic peak performance shape, physically and mentally. The transformation for me has been absolutely fantastic. And a lot of people go through their lives and they lose weight and then they put it back on again, right? What's been amazing about our system is that it's been able to give me the facility to year after year after year keep that weight off, because I'm no longer even concerned about my physical component or the physical look, because I'm just focusing on powering up my brain, and by doing that, my body's responding. And that's the beauty of this, right? And to be able to create a system that creates that, where your brain is firing at its best, but you feel and look great as well. And not only has it been helpful for me, but many other people. Sahara, my partner, has also been on this journey with me, and she's had some fantastic results as well. And she loves this whole concept of what we're doing, right? And not only have we been able to get into physical peak performance shape, but we were able to go from where I was stuck in my job. What happened was it just blew up inside of me. I had so much energy, had so much motivation, I had so much focus from that to go out and create 5 businesses in a row, development businesses, real estate businesses, management businesses, and the like, to give us the capacity to get out of our jobs and move forward. We do coaching, now we've got this business that we run as well. All of this has come from being able to create a systematized approach to mindset and to creating a structure that works really well to be able to perform at our best. And it's been quite incredible. And the journey started at this moment. This was the very first home office I had back maybe 7 years ago now. And we started off as a small little enterprise trying to build a business, right? And in order to make it happen, I knew that I needed to perform at my best, and my brain needed to be firing at the best. I needed to be creative. I needed to be motivated. I needed to be focused. And this is what we help our clients with, is to engage in these constructs to be able to be the best you can possibly be. And from that business, that context has not changed. We run $1 million businesses around the world, looking after people. We got staff from all over the place. We got staff in other countries, but we run it from our mobile, from inside of our house, and we're very, very proud of what we've been able to accomplish. It hasn't changed much. This is my latest office where we're working from right now, and it's brilliant. I have a little hub, and I'm able to run $1 million company and to look after people and have staff all around the world. And to be able to do this means being in a peak performance mode, means being able to be motivated, confident, focused, engaged. These are the components to having a successful business. Now, I'm going to talk a bit about the focus in a minute, but here's a context that I want you to understand, I want to talk about here, and we share this with all of our clients, and it's this, right? I have people that come to me and they're always, entrepreneurs are kind of resilient in their essence sometimes, and they want to do everything themselves. They feel proud to be able to go out there and challenge the world. They feel proud to want to be independent and do everything themselves. And what happens when people do everything themselves, they end up burning out. They end up going nowhere. They end up failing because they're trying to do it by themselves. It's impossible to do things by yourself. And what's worse is a lot of people try and do things willy-nilly without having a systematized approach to their life, to their structure, to their creating opportunity. And so what you need to have success in business, and this is fundamental, this is core. Anybody that's ever had success knows this, and these are the components that are vital, right? First thing, you have to have commitment. You have to want to be committed to your goals. You have to be committed to wanting to go somewhere, right? Sometimes we don't know what exactly that looks like, but we got commitment. You need to have commitment. The next thing you need to have is clarity, right? Clarity on how you're going to get from A to B, right? That clarity is important, because if you just go out there with an assumption that you're going to do something and you don't have any idea on how you're going to get there, you end up failing. Clarity is a vital component to having success. Clarity is the gold bar in your fortune, right? It's what you need to have that movement forward. And clarity comes in the form of systems. Clarity comes in the form of having step-by-step ways and processes to understand, to help you get from A to B, right? So a system is important. The next thing you need is confidence. If you don't have confidence, you're going to be always stuck. You're always going to be second guessing yourself. You're always going to feel that fear of failure. That's always going to be debilitating and holding you back. Confidence is critical. And confidence comes from support. Confidence comes from the people around you. Confidence comes from mentorship, coaching, working with people that can help you break through those barriers and help you move forward in anything. Goals, achieving business success, relationships, and even losing weight. We need, and to be in shape, right, is to have a system. The systems drive us. If we can stick with systems and have a system helping us and overlay that with the confidence of people that we can turn to help us, that makes a world of difference. That makes everything better, easier, simpler for us to be able to move forward. So we created a system that's helped us develop a system for entrepreneurs who want to be more focused, motivated, and confident. Let me talk a little bit about this. This is the butterfly method, right? And it's a three core step process, right? Move it out of the way here a little bit. And it's about taking you from average to extraordinary. Let's talk about average for a second, right? What does average mean? Average is what most people face every day. The people that are dreaming about having great things in their lives, but they do the same thing over and over again. They don't look after themselves. They're not having the right nutrition. They don't have the right supplementation. They don't do the right practices. They're just going through the motions, right? Some people are fortunate enough and they're still able to create something, but it becomes a lot harder when you've got doubt, when you've got overwhelm, and you've got the foggy brain happening, right? That overwhelm is I've already explained that, and a foggy brain is when your brain is just not working for you. It's not helping you move forward. You're not being creative. You're not being engaged. You're not able to articulate or be physically creating better things in your life, right? Foggy brain is a very debilitating effect as well. And a lot of people will just accept that. What's really amazing about the clients that we work with is that most of them don't realize they have a foggy brain until their brain is clear, till they're able to see things from a different light, till the perspective or that cloud has moved away and they go, wow, I can see the world a bit better now. I feel better about what I'm doing. And that's what we love to see from our people. We really love that experience, right? And what is extraordinary? Extraordinary is when you can be hyper-focused. When I say hyper-focused, I mean nothing stops you. Nothing gets in your way. You can be engaged. You can get stuff done. You're focusing. You're prioritizing. You're creating that pathway. That clarity is there for you to go from A to B. Motivation, right? That's a fundamental baseline for all of us to be able to achieve our goals, is motivation, to have that energy, to be able to get out of bed, feel happy, engaged, energized, and not let anything get in our way, right? Focus and motivation working together are that's the pinnacle of having a good, successful life and relation and business, right? And so the last part of the component is confidence. And confidence, we want to instill and help people to learn how to build confidence in their lives, because confidence is that missing gap that a lot of people don't have. They don't know how to get confidence. And when you have confidence, that component, that are part of extraordinary that we want to impart into people, we see people getting some really great results, right? Feeling good about what they're doing, making good decisions, knowing why they're making those decisions, and having a structure that they've planned for so that they can be more effective in their businesses, right? Now, this is a three-part process. We got base, we got core, and we've got amplify. All of these layer on top of each other. You have to stack yourself or build yourself up to get to a point of mastery, right? So drive, we help our clients with drive to be able to have the fundamental building blocks, to be able to be motivated, to have the tools that they need so that they can be able to shoot forward in their life. They've got some tools to draw from that'll keep them on the path, right? To keep them less going around chasing shiny objects and getting confused and frustrated. Calm, now that's what we're talking about tonight. Calm is an important component of this, but it's a part of the piece of the puzzle, right? Grit. Grit is a vital piece of the puzzle as well that we need to have as entrepreneurs. If you know how to build grit in your life, if you know how to develop that grit, it becomes a very powerful piece of the puzzle. And the next thing we need is energy. And we create energy through how we create nutritional plans, supplement plans, and the like, to engage your system and your energy system so that you can feel good every day, so that you can feel like you're not worn out, so you can feel like you can face a whole day right from the beginning to the end without it holding you back. Sorry, I'm just going to mute you there. Excellent. The next part of the puzzle is strength, inner strength. How do you develop inner strength? Well, we show you how you can, we're showing our clients, and we can show you how you build that inner strength. Inner strength, when you can actually work it like a muscle, is very powerful. When you know how to turn your inner strength into power and you know how to bring that emotion up and have it working for you all day, every day, that's going to give you the ability to keep crushing every day, just like clockwork. Resilience. This is important because a lot of people burn out. Burnout is a big problem, right? And some of you might have experienced this before. I know I've experienced burnout when I'm pushing it 16-hour days, 20-hour days, just keep going, pushing, and you feel like you just eventually can't do it anymore, right? It's not a good place to be. So we show you how you can create recovery processes so that you can never burn out. We help you to prevent you from ever burning out ever again. And if you can have that context working from you and you'll never burn out, you can just keep going and going and going. You're going to feel good about what you're doing and you're going to feel more confident, right? The next is control. And this is the leverage component, right? We help people leverage their lives, leverage their businesses, leverage themselves so that they can perform better. If you could put this in one context, this is productivity, but I like to think of this as effectiveness, right? Being control of your environment, being control of what's happening around you so you can be the best version of you, right? You got to engineer that environment. The next, and I think this is probably one of the second most important, is creativity. Right? Creativity, helping people to unlock creativity inside of them that they didn't even realize they have. You right now have got an amazing chemistry working inside of you. That nervous system and your neurobiology has got some incredible things that it can do, it can perform, right? Your body can do some amazing things. It can come up with innovative ideas. It can come up with creative solutions, creative strategies. So many people don't know that they have this potential inside of them, and we're helping people break this out. This is one of the most needed components of business, is being able to problem solve or to be creative, right? And there you can tap inside of you to unlock that. And the last part is mastery. And mastery is about being able to have your life in control, to be able to master your life, your business, the people around you, to be engaged, to be emotionally in control, and to have the best version of you playing out every day, just like clockwork, right? So we're helping with a lot, and this is our system. We have a mastermind, which I'm going to talk to you about tonight. I'm going to show you after we've gone through the training. The mastermind is for entrepreneurs who work from home, very specific, right? And it's about helping you get hyper-focused, motivated, and confident, right? We provide you all the tools, the success plan, the live events, a retreat, community, coaching, accountability, and support that's necessary for you to guarantee success. We have a full package to help you to get to that next level in your business, right? To get your mind working and your environment working so that you can be very effective, right? So we've been very fortunate to be able to take what we've got, and we've gone out and helped many people, right? A mastermind is a place where you can connect with others, you can build your confidence, you can learn from others' experience. A mastermind is a very powerful place to be. I've learned so much from being around masterminds, being around other people, being around people that are on the same level or higher than me is very empowering, right? It gives you that ability to learn and grow so much faster. So we offer that opportunity to you guys. And we've been able to go all over the place and teach people. Just a few pictures of us on stage, right? And what is this all about? This is all about really your attention. Your attention. It's that simple. Your attention determines the value of your life, right? What you spend your time and your attention on determines where you are right now, right? And your attention is everything. You want to know how valuable your attention is? It's the most valuable thing on this planet. I'll show you exactly how valuable it is, right? Right now, there's a war out there, a war on your attention. That war is raging. It's a battle that's brutal, it's bloody, and it's going crazy, right? You've got corporations, algorithms, conveniences like pizza, burgers, all these things that are zapping at our attention, marketing, our colleagues, friends, our bosses, people that work in companies, businesses. You know, we want our employees' attention. We want them to be better at what they're doing, right? Our family is biting for our attention. And sometimes there's emergencies, right? These battles for your attention are relentless and they don't stop. And I'm sure you understand that. But check this out. This is how valuable your attention is. I'm going to share this with you, right? This is from the National Institute of Medicine, right? NIH, right? And this is a log where they log all the scientific research that's been done on specific topics, right? Biotechnology pretty much runs all the research they do here. And I want to show you this, right? Right now, check this out. There has been over 500,000 research papers written, plus 500,000 plus 57 plus 500,000 plus research papers on attention. That's insane. Like if you look at this number, you got to calculate, right, that each one of those studies costs money. You got to have scientists working on it. You got to have participants. You got to have a lab. You got to have all the stuff that you got to put into them. 500,000 just on attention. And check this out. In 2021 alone, it's been peaking, right? In 2021, 53,000 research papers were done on attention. Do you think attention is valuable? Of course, companies are spending billions of dollars researching this thing that we call attention. Your attention is everything, right? And there's a war out for your attention. And if you give up to that war, you're going to lose the most important part of you. And already a lot of people are losing. Already a lot of people are getting sucked up by technology and they're getting hypnotized by this constant battle for their attention, right? Take note of that. There's a lot of money being spent to attract your attention. We need to learn how to manage this and take back control and be in charge of the outcome of this, right? 53,000 just in 1 year. You can imagine how much money that is, right? When you've got labs, scientists, all the people that are involved in this. It's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. And there's another thing on top of that. We're creating our own problem as well. We're putting ourselves in environments, eating unhealthy, doing practices that are just not working in our benefit, putting ourselves in environments where we're just scattering up our brain and we're causing more damage than good. And we're literally, the science is out there. It's showing that we are creating ADHD out there in adults. Adults that never had attention deficit disorder before are now getting it because they're getting so sucked up in all this mayhem that's going around us, right? It's a real problem. Now, we pull up a lot of our research from some of the top institutes around the world, right? Peak performance institutes. There's some incredible amount of money going into helping people or helping the science behind building peak performance, having people feeling good and performing at their best. It's incredible the amount of money that's being spent on this, and there's a lot of research, good research. So we go and decode all the research. We look at what's working, and we've created a process and a system that's specifically designed for entrepreneurs who work from home. It's a very powerful context that we put together, and this is based fundamentally on science of peak performance. right? And what we've learned is the context of how our body comes together, right? And this is very powerful. I want you guys to look at this and take this in, understand it, digest it, and think about how you can empower yourself through this model, right? Now, we have a world that's around us. We take in information, right? That information is perception. Our body is perceiving, or our mind is perceiving what is around us, and so something might happen. For instance, and I'm going to use this as an analogy, and I know it's probably a bit aggressive, but it paints a picture. Imagine somebody slaps you, right? Somebody slaps you on the cheek. You feel that that event happening, right? That then with that slap on your cheek, your body then sends a signal, right? You've got a signaling process. So phase 2 is a signaling. You get signals that go through your system. Your system then creates an emotion. Right, so your nervous system sends through signals, and immediately it creates an emotion. The first thing that comes out of you is an emotion. So if somebody slaps you, you're going to be in an emotional state. That emotion is then backed up by neurochemistry, right? The movement that happens in stage 4 is your neurochemistry. And I've got a little pin doll there to illustrate emotion. A little bit humorous, but our emotions can make us do some crazy stuff sometimes. Our emotions are the things that are distracting us or pulling us away from moving forward. Anxiety, depression, all these things that are debilitating cause us from moving forward and having the goals we want, right? So I want you to think about this. At the top of this whole list, or stage 4, is your neurochemicals. And your neurochemistry is what drives you forward. Your neurochemistry is what creates your direction, right? And so from the perceptions that we've created, from the signaling and the programming that we've created in our signaling, we then construct these emotions that then make us do things. So at the end of the day, the primary thing for us to be working towards is creating a neurochemistry that helps us to be more productive, to be more creative, to be more innovative, to be more focused, to be more engaged. It all comes down to neurochemistry. Neurochemistry, if we reverse engineer it, means that we have to have our emotions working effectively. So our emotions trigger the right sensations, they're going to release the right amount of neurochemistry. Take it one step back, we've got a signaling pathway. The signaling pathway is our nervous system. Our nervous system sends the signals, right? But here, the magic happens because the perception comes from what we have in our body, in our mind, our thoughts and our sensations. That is a perception. So through perception, we can navigate through our system. I'll explain what that means in more detail. In her book, Lisa Feldman, one of the leading experts in emotions, describes exactly the context of how we fundamentally construct our own emotions. And once our emotions are constructed, it triggers off the neurochemistry in our system, right? What we do is through our perceptions and through our life experiences, our emotions are created through our memories. So every memory that we've had in our past creates the context for how our emotions are going to react. So we've literally programmed our emotions through our experiences in life. And when we look at our emotions and how powerfully they drive us through everything, it's something that we need to really get on top of and control. So that takes us to the next step, right? Emotional intelligence. Emotional intelligence is a critical component to being a successful entrepreneur. People that you work with, your clients, your customers, you being able to manage that anxiety, that stress, that overwhelm. Right? Knowing how to control that in your emotion system is really what we're going to talk about tonight. All right. In the book, The Molecule of More, Daniel Lindemann goes through this in detail and talks about how our neurochemicals drive us, the power of our neurochemicals and how we are letting ourselves be debilitated by our neurochemistry. And once you get the context of this and how powerful it is, and the core chemical he talks about, or neuromodulator he talks about, is dopamine. Dopamine, very powerful, does most of our shifts in our world, gets us focused, gets us creative, gets us moving forward, gets us being more productive. That's where we got to be aiming for, right? And neurochemistry comes in several factors, categories, right? We got anandamide, endorphins, serotonin, dopamine, norepinephrine, oxytocin. These are powerful chemicals. These are so super powerful that when you've got them working for you, it can become addictive. It can become super awesome to all feel this good all the time. So it's really about understanding how to modulate those neurochemicals so that you can be able to perform at your best. In The Pain Relief Secret, Sarah Warren talks about how the nervous system plays a really big impact in sending signals that we can disconnect our signals, or we can connect to our signals, or rewire our signals to be able to perform in certain ways. And one of the big things she talks about is pain, and how a lot of people are debilitated through pain, and that you can actually be in control of your system and switch off pain, right? So we have very powerful construct or tools that we can use in our body to do some amazing, astronomically powerful things as entrepreneurs, right? Here's the thing, we've got tools that we can use. These tools, when we know how to use them, can drive amazing, incredible energy, can give you the motivation, the focus you need, can help you be creative. And we've got these all at the tips of our fingers, literally, right? Our eyes, our ears, sounds that we put in, our mouth, what we feed, and what we smell, how we breathe, what we think, how we use our mind, right? The narrative that we have, the narrative that we create, our skin, our muscles, our stomach, our lungs, all of these are receptors to the nervous system, direct receptors to the nervous system. So if we know how to modulate those receptors, we can then reprogram ourselves and re-engineer ourselves in a way that we're going to be performing much better, we're going to feel better, we're going to be clearer, and we're going to be able to do some amazing things. Kid you not, this is really, really powerful stuff. And when you get this, you can take your whole life to a whole new level, right? Mindset-wise, and we know we need as strong a mindset as we possibly can have to run a good business, because there's so much hanging on us, so much relying on us. Everything that we've got the pressure on our shoulders to perform, because the people around us are looking at us saying, hey, you got to do this, right? And we understand that pressure, but most of us are turning to pills. Many people are turning to just lethargy or apathy, or just, this is just the way it's supposed to be. But it doesn't have to just be that way. It doesn't have to just be that way. We've got the ability to reprogram and rewire our bodies and create a much better outcome. We just need to take the effort and putting the effort into it. We can think better, we can be clearer, we can be smarter, we can be energized, and all these things, right? But today we're going to talk about focus. Focus is one of the components that I'm really, really passionate about, right? Our focus is so flimsy, right? You can see this image here. Our focus is literally where we're looking at, or what we're listening to, what we're spending our attention on, right? When I say attention and focus, they're kind of the same thing, right? But our focus is so flimsy. It's so freaky flimsy, right? It goes from one thing to the next. You're off in flights, right? Somebody calls your name, you're looking in that direction. You hear a noise, you're off in that direction. It's very flighting and very fleeting. And it's very hard to keep it on track, especially if your focus is untrained, especially if you've never actually created a pathway for you to be in control of your focus. Notifications happen. You've got 100 tabs open on your computer. You're flicking from one to the other. You've got somebody calls you. You're starting to get hungry. Something happens. You're just trying to keep control of your focus is very difficult sometimes, right? I know I've experienced that, and I know a lot of my clients have experienced that as well. And I'm pretty sure you've probably experienced it at some point. So we need to be in control of this, right? And what we need to work on is our impulse control. Impulse control is the ability to be able to manage our brains from going from one thing to the next, right? Being in control of those impulses. And when you have impulse control, you have control of your system, right? Especially when it comes to focus. Now, that's not something that comes lightly, but there's a system for that, right? We have a process to help you strengthen that. Like you would go to gym, work out your muscles, you can work out your brain muscle and make it really super powerful and strong so that you can be focused and motivated and feel confident. Now, we got a lot of information that we take in from all over the place, right? Sometimes we don't realize how much information we're taking in, tons of information from peripheral vision. If you're watching us right now and you're looking directly at the center of the screen, you can see stuff all around you, right? You can take in peripheral vision. Your peripheral vision is usually just filtered out. Right, it's filtered out by your brain, the back of your brain, and it's you're only given a focused view of what you see most of the time, which is like looking through a straw, right? That's what you see most of the time. You're not usually looking at your peripheral vision. Peripheral vision is a very important part of strengthening up your brain. Now, we have two biomatrices, and these biomatrices are fundamentally what we're helping people improve so that they can be performing at their best, right? And we cover things like brain waves, brain function, heart rate, right? Neurochemicals, stress, breathing, mindset, time awareness. Time awareness is very important to help people get them to a state where they're in control, where they're able to have their body performing at their best. The next biomatrix is covering stuff like inflammation, recovery, body function, right? Being strong, fit, and flexible. Vitamin levels, right? So many people are vitamin deficient and they don't even realize it, and they carry on with their lives wondering why they got a freaking foggy brain, and they haven't even looked at what their neurochemistry is doing, what their biochemistry is doing, right? Gut strength. The amount of rubbish we're putting in our stomachs that we don't even realize it's causing problem, leaky gut, and it's really affecting the way we think. That foggy brain is coming from there as well. Right? Xenotoxins, sleep, and memory. Very big component of what we help people with is increasing their memory, helping them get more clarity around their memory. So we've got two networks that work in our system, right? We've got a default mode network, which is typically your dorsal lateral prefrontal cortex and some of your back of your brain here, your lateral parietal lobe and your posterior cochlear cortex, right? So also you have your task mode network, which is pretty much run from your medial prefrontal cortex and then a whole lot of other parts of your brain, right? Now, in the past, scientists believed that emotion and problems and things that were like ADHD were these little blobs in our head. So if you had ADHD, it was that part of your brain. If you had a problem, it was that part of your brain. If you had an emotional deficit, it was that part of your brain. Well, recently, and with the advancement of technology, it's been come to understand that as we're dealing with a whole network, our body and our minds work together, right? And so emotion and problems and that are never typically just one place, right? One component. So that myth has been thrown right out. It's a whole system working together to create positive or negative outcomes. And these two systems are working in balance with each other, right? Pretty much opposite to each other. And when they're working opposite to each other, you're getting peak performance. You're getting the normal results you're supposed to be getting in your body system, right? When these work against each other, right, that's when you have, when they're working with each other together, that's when you have stuff like attention deficit disorder, right? ADHD. And when ADHD is there, there's other problems that happen in the neurochemistry, but typically these two modes are working together. Now these two systems work like an orchestra, right? They're like a band working together. It's like a bass and an orchestra leader. An orchestra and a conductor. And these work together to create the music in your system, to create the body that you want, to create the life that you want, right? When they're working like this in the pump, they're working together. Now, these are directly connected to dopamine, right? Dopamine helps to modulate this process. And dopamine runs at a slow or a fast pace depending on how you're functioning or depending on what's going on in your life at the time, right? Neuroplasticity. A few years ago, it was discovered that we as human beings have the ability to grow new neural networks all the way until the age that we die, right? This is incredibly powerful to understand, right? That we can rewire, recreate, and restructure our brain all the way till the day that we die. We can create new neurons, right? Which is amazing. When you think about it, it turns the whole context of our lives upside down. We do not have to get older. We do not need to lose our memory. We do not need to get older, right? My physical condition, I'm 50 years, going on 50 years old this year, and I feel better than I did when I was 18, right? I'm feeling better shape. I feel mentally more acute than I did when I was 18 because I've made some fundamental changes that have allowed me to operate much better. I'm faster than what I was when I was younger. I think quicker. I get more done. I'm able to be more effective. All of these things have come out of the idea that I've not allowed myself to get older. I've allowed myself literally to get and feel younger. And anybody can do that. Anybody has the capacity to do that if they take the neurochemistry and put it into a mode where it can perform better. So, we're going to start talking about some of the stuff that is important in terms of focus, right? To get in charge of your focus or start learning how to calm or have calm focus is a fundamental part of what we teach and help people with, right? It's step 2. Step 2 and step 1 is about creating the drive. And in drive, we're creating the tools and the context for people to have the ability to have this drive and motivation working for them through this part of the process. So some of the stuff that we teach in step 1 from motivation is brought over to this step. And then from this step, you move over to the next step, which is grit, and so on. And you start building up on the systems, right? And these are very powerful systems and they stack on top of each other. Now, the first part, or what we talk about in this module, is something that very few people really do or understand the power of until you've been doing it for a while, right? It's this idea of slowing down. Everybody can say, oh yeah, I can slow down, I can sit and watch TV. That's not what I mean, right? I don't mean just slowing down and watching something. I mean slowing your system down, slowing your whole energy down, slowing what we call putting yourself into a state of transient hyperfrontality, right? This is the context of where peak performance starts, right? Transient hyperfrontality is the ability to slow down your prefrontal cortex, right, to a brain frequency that's around alpha theta, right? This is where flow state happens. Now, it doesn't happen so easily. You have to practice at this, like going to the gym and working out. You got to work on being able to slow your body down. This is the first step to being calm, is learning how to do this, to slow your body down, to slow time down, to slow everything around you to a state where you can feel like you're more in control. Now, you can do this for the moment and you might experience some calm, right? But when you start practicing it on a regular basis, it really instills a change inside of you where you can take charge of certain types of situations, right? Feeling panicky, feeling anxious, right? This is just the first step. Now, typically our brain frequencies are firing at a pretty high rate. They're probably at beta, we're focused, we're energized, we're engaged. Very, very rarely do we get into a gamma state. And gamma is that state where you can dive into creativity. You have these great flashes of inspiration happening. You can problem solve. You have all these interesting things happening inside your brain when you get into that gamma state, right? But it's much easier accessing that gamma state when you're able to slow down, when you're able to get into that moment where you're in control of time, right? Literally, I say you can just slow down time. When you can do that and more frequently, you start utilizing this tool to add to the rest of what we're about to talk about, right? But transient hyperfrontality is the slowing down of your brain so that you can be in charge and you can start accessing other parts of your system. Now, this is a scientific phenomenon often found in extreme sports athletes, high performing executives, people that get into a zone or get into flow and have been researched and have been able to tap into seeing how the brain slows down in those moments. So peak performance comes from slowing down. It's as simple as that. The next thing is, and a lot of people don't practice this or even think about this oftentimes, but your breathing, your airway, your passageway, and your lungs are interconnected or deeply connected to your pancreas, which is connected to right into your nervous system, and where your adrenal glands secrete adrenaline, right? And adrenaline is anxiety, adrenaline is stress, right? You feel those adrenaline, you feel stressed, it's coming from your adrenal glands. And so breathing is a connection to those adrenal glands. And I talk a lot about breathing and grit, and we show you how you can utilize your breathing to power up your system, right? But for the purposes of what I'm talking about today and calming down is long, slow breaths out. Now, the longer your breaths are out than what they are in, what's going to happen is it's going to slow your autonomic nervous system down, and you're going to feel more engaged in your system, right? So now, when you breathe out and you over breathe out, like you breathe all your oxygen down, that really sedates your autonomic nervous system, right? That really puts you into a place of rest and relaxation. And I know some people that have done this and have, fallen asleep because it can be so relaxing. So just breathing out very slowly does a very powerful thing to you. Your whole system gets engaged and you'll slow your system down. So part of a calming process, or part of the steps going into what we're talking about today, is being able to manage these two things: slowing down time and low breathing out, and learning how, when you breathe out, you can be in control of your system, right? And things happen in your day, right? Anxious things happen. Somebody's annoyed you. You missed out on a deal. Whatever's happened, and you're just feeling like the world's at you, right? The best thing to do is slow down and breathe out slowly, as long as you can, and do that 3-4 times. I promise you'll get in control of your system super quickly. And when you can do that, that gives you a whole new edge in your capacity, right? The ability, what you're able to do. It's a starting point. It's a starting point to getting your whole system engaged, right? These are very critical things that you need to learn to be in charge of your system, right? Next, the deep now, right? The deep now is something that scientists have termed when you're hyper-focused, when you're in the moment, right? And when it feels like time is dilating and you're in the zone, right? The deep now. Now, I bring this context into our modules early on to give people an understanding of this, because you bring it through to everything that we do in our whole system. The deep now is where your power is. Your deep now is where the strength of your entire system comes from. When you can access yourself, your system, and put yourself into a deep now, you can become more physically stronger, you can become more mentally stronger, you can become more determined, you can become more engaged, and this is the power of the deep now. Now, I talk about the deep now a lot because it's one of the things that you need to, when you practice this a lot, when you understand it, when you work towards this deep now, and you add these pieces together, it's super powerful, super powerful. You can, for instance, if you are doing some athletics or running or sprinting or exercise, utilizing these tools that I've just talked about now, plus the deep now, and understanding that you're doing this through in your subconscious, you can punch through 20% more than what you've ever done before. It allows you to perform so much better when you know how to handle this, right? But it takes practice. It takes an understanding. Not everybody gets it too easily, but when you practice this over and over again, you start getting it. You start understanding when you're walking, when you're training, when you're talking to people, when you're engaged in work that you're doing. The deep now is when the moments are, the power is happening, right? So practicing the deep now. And the deep now is literally slowing down time, breathing, and just feeling yourself in the moment that is so deep and so focused that nothing is distracting you, right? Nothing is distracting you. You're in control of your thoughts. Your thoughts aren't bombarding you and coming into your mind and creating havoc, right? Now, this does take practice, and which takes us on to the next level, because you're going to put these tools together and we're going to put this into a practice, yeah? Now, when you're doing these things or when you're slowing down, dopamine typically is running at about 3 to 4 cycles a minute. You can slow it down to around about 2 cycles, per second, right? If you slow down to about 2 cycles a second, 3 cycles a second, you're getting in control of that system and you're engaging it. You're priming your dopamine to be able to help you move forward more effectively and more positively. So the deep now is this context of not being in the future, not being in your past, right? Oftentimes you can sit in a quiet place and you'll try and clear your mind out, right? But these thoughts, memories, ruminations, dreams, ideas will keep popping in your head, right? That's you letting your mind run your life. That's literally you letting your mind run your life. Now, there's a time where you can have that engagement and you need stuff happening in your mind. But when you're engaged, when you've got stuff to do and you want to be focused, one of the biggest things from an emotional context is to handle all these ruminations, right? And from a focus perspective, you want to be able to control any forward thinking at the moment and being in charge of this, right? So all these things that are happening in your head are what's just causing you and helping you to be distracted, right? Going from one thing to the next. Your brain is not trained. It's not worked. It's not exercised in a way to be able to concentrate and be in focus mode. So I'm going to give you some tools to help you with this. Now, Altered Traits, probably one of the best books I've read about meditation, right? Meditation is one of the most powerful things, and if you read this book, and I highly suggest you do, you'll see that meditation can totally transform us. It can take us from how we were to being something different, right? It can alter our traits. It's been scientifically shown, and at the moment, just as much as there's research into attention, there's a crazy amount of research going into meditation. The science is now up and showing evidence that we can really do amazing, powerful things in our bodies and in our lives through meditation. Yet so many people are not doing it, and also so many people don't understand how to do it effectively. And when it comes to entrepreneurship, I believe there's a very specific way to meditate that helps you get engaged and motivated and focused, right? So this is a very powerful, good book. I suggest you read it. Altered Traits will show you how meditation transforms lives, right? Mindfulness. Mindfulness. I don't know if all of you understand or know what mindfulness is. Mindfulness is a very important context of meditation. Now, there are many types of meditation out there, good types of meditation. There's meditation that is in different contexts, spiritual belief types of meditation. Sorry, I've got a dog barking outside. Spiritual types of meditation and all kinds of meditation. Now, all of them have good stuff going on, but we specifically focus on mindfulness meditation. And the reason for that is because it's simple and it's very effective, right? The science has proven that it's a very powerful, and it doesn't take a lot of energy and effort to get good results. That's what I like about it. And for the terms of entrepreneurship, when we're short on time, we don't want to spend 2-3 hours meditating. Well, you can, of course you can, but we want to get in control of our body in a short space of time. So everything we design is about putting things into context and making them happen in the quickest amount of time possible so that we can get on with our day. So mindfulness is a good context for that, right? You don't need to spend a lot of time every day, but if you do it consistently for small amounts of time, you're going to find incredible changes in the way your brain functions. I kid you not, it's that powerful, and I'm not just saying that. You can go and read the data yourself, the research. It's out there to show the evidence that this type of meditation can really make a big difference in your life and really helps as a starting point for calm focus, right? And calm focus is a key element for success as an entrepreneur, right? And here we go. Meditation. Just this year alone, there was I think over 1,000 research papers written just on meditation, right? In total, there's as much as 8,604 results of research papers that have been written around meditation. All right, meditation is growing as a context for changing lives in stress, relationships, business. All kinds of things good things are happening in the space of meditation, and mindfulness is running the lead on this. And we take this and put this into context for entrepreneurs, right? Now, there's all kinds of good things you can get from meditation, right? You can feel better, you can be in a better mood, you can be less stressed, all this kind of stuff. But for us, ultimately, there's three things that we want to accomplish for the people that we work with. The first thing is hyper-focus, to be engaged. The second thing is motivation, to be energized, be full of energy and on your game, right? And the last thing is confidence. We want confidence for people, right? Because when you have confidence, everything becomes that much easier. And so what we construct in our system is everything built around that. So from our previous training, which we do as part of the process of momentum, it's called Momentum X, and it's about creating drive. We have some tools that we use to create drive and motivation, right? These are very powerful tools, and it takes a whole lot of explaining and the science around why that is important. But one of the two very important components of that, one is core values, and the other is emotions, right? I'll talk about core values first, right? All of us have this innate aspiration to be moving forward, right? We want to do great things, especially if you're an entrepreneur and you're aspiring to do wonderful things in this world. Need to have a solid foundation, and that foundation needs to drive us through neurochemistry, right? And having values, the right type of values, fundamentally underpins good emotions around what you're doing. When you have good values, what that means is when you have good values, you can create so much easier and better decisions based on the values that you have. Your life becomes more solid and concrete. So we teach our clients that one of the biggest things we need to do as one of the fundamental underpinning parts of motivation is to have values, good values. Now there's lots of values, tons of values, right? But you need to choose a few of the best ones that you think that resonate with you, that you can use as a foundation or a building block for your future, for you going forward. Because when you have good values, decision making becomes so much easier, right? So we have a big list of core values there that you could draw from, and you can go and choose the values that are important for you. We say 3 to 5 core values need to drive your life. Your values then become part of your principles, and your principles move you up to the next level. The next thing is to understand emotions, right? So many people go through their lives and they have emotions. They get angry, they get annoyed, they get frustrated, they get anxious, right? And these emotions are there, but they never actually deal with them, understand them, know how to work with them. They just let them erupt. They just let them do the thing that they're doing. And very few people actually take context of what the emotions are doing, how they're built, where they're coming from, what they mean, and how you can put them to better use or change them in your life, right? Now, this is a discussion on its own, but I'm going to just highlight a few things, right? Emotions come in good emotions, bad emotions, but emotions run our life. Everything that we do in our life is based on emotion. Action happens, signals get sent to our nervous system. The nervous system creates emotions. Emotion creates neurochemistry, which moves us forward, right? This is an ongoing cycle over and over again. So emotion is a key component of that. We are living on emotion. Our whole life is driven by emotion. So it's important to know what emotion is. It's important to understand what emotion is. And there's a lot of positive ones, and we'll go through them, like feeling confident, feeling daring, determined, free. These are all positive ones. And then there's negative ones as well, right? Apprehensive, concerned, dissatisfied, grouchy, hesitant. All of these have meaning and context, right? That we ultimately create. We create these emotions. We have constructed these emotions from our memories. Our memories are the filtering block to what's happening outside our world, and it creates emotions. And these emotions drive us. All the stuff that's happened to us from when we're little to growing up has created a filter that produces these emotions, right? Lisa Feldman explains this in really interesting detail. So we're creating these emotions, good ones and bad ones. And we can create good ones when we need them, right? We can get rid of the bad ones if we want to. We get to construct these emotions. We get to create this feeling of anxiety or remove that feeling of anxiety. We are in charge of it if we practice, if we learn how to do it and take charge of these emotions through the environment, through the perception that we create or perceive, or how things happen. You can use your systems to reprogram yourself. So here we go. We're going to go into a bit of detail into this and break this down into components, right? Now, this is a step-by-step model. We've talked about all the pieces that you've got to bring into this, right? And you utilize, these are some of the pieces to strengthen up your mindfulness practices, right? When you get these practices right, you can really start engaging your brain. You will feel different. You will feel more in control, and you will notice more when you get distracted. And noticing distraction is one of the most powerful things you can have, because now you know what you're dealing with. You bring yourself back into alignment. So that's what we're training. That impulse control, that ability that we can take charge of these decisions that we have, right? Like distraction, like overwhelm, like anxiety. So, step one, as we start with low breath, right? Low breath. Now, you can meditate when you're doing mindfulness in a couple of ways. You can focus on one specific place with your eyes open at a point in front of you and keep on that focus point and work through your meditation like that. The next is you can have what's called a soft focus. So you can have a focus on a place, and then you can have peripheral vision. So you have a soft focus at a point anywhere in front of you, far, near, doesn't matter. And what you're doing is you're taking in peripheral vision, right? Peripheral vision is incredible for helping increase your memory, helping work in your memory, right? So by focusing on a point, you're going to start this process, right? Let's assume, and I often do this as one of my practices, we'll be staring at one specific place. Usually it's a tree in the distance. I have a set routine, right? There's a tree in the distance, and I'll be focusing on that. What you'll notice is maybe 3-4 seconds into this meditative practice, for most people, you'll start getting these thoughts, ruminations, dreams, just mind wandering happening inside your mind. What you want to do is acknowledge that, right? As a starting point, this is a primary, basic starting exercise into mindfulness, is to notice these wanderings and to accept them and to let them go. I like to say this, I say this to my daughter, I say, put those thoughts in a little bubble and let that bubble float away and pop, right? It's really good context to that. So you're putting these emotions, these thoughts, these memories, whatever it is that's wandering in your mind, You're noticing them and you're letting them wander, letting them float off. This is very important to do. It's a starting point to starting to control your mind, taking charge of your mind. With your eyes are open or closed, right? When you can start noticing these ruminations or mind wanderings happening, and you can start learning to release them, you're releasing a lot of emotion in your life. You're releasing a lot of negativity, right? You're learning to be in charge of that focus. And what you can do, what will really help you, is a low breath, right? That breathing out. Breathing out long and slow. You'll feel yourself connecting to your system, right? Breathing in is an active or energizing effect. Breathing out is slowing your system down. So breathing out slow and long, you'll feel yourself connecting to your system, and you'll feel yourself engaging your focus. And over time, you'll get stronger at this, and you'll be able to withhold those ruminations or mind wanderings. And this is when the power or the magic starts to happen. Now, don't get annoyed or distressed if at first you're doing this and these mind wanderings are just constantly, and you just can't seem to get a handle on them. It's okay. It takes a while to get into a mode of really taking charge of that rumination or that mind wandering. Right? When you really start feeling it happening, when you can charge your mind and you can block out this mind wandering, and you can start staying focused, that's going to do an amazing thing inside of your brain. Your neurochemistry is going to start rewiring you, and you're going to start being in charge and control of the system, right? Starting point. Now, the next point, the next level up, I like to call the finger touch. Now, I call it the finger touch because you can touch yourself anywhere. I like to touch my two fingers together, and a touching point means you got somewhere to focus on internally, like your own system. It's interoceptive connection, right? And that interoceptive connection allows you to get in touch with yourself and be in control of your environment, your inner you. Yeah, you can close your eyes and you can be in that meditative state. Now, finger touching, you can touch yourself on your hand, yourself, whatever creates a touch point that you can focus on, right? And that focus is where you're starting to train your brain. You'll feel that touch point, you'll notice that touch point, you'll connect with that touch point, and you'll focus and keep those ruminations or that mind wandering out. Or when it comes into your mind, accept it and release it in a bubble, in the wind, in the clouds. However it is that you can release those and let them go, and then bring yourself back to focusing again. And it's okay if it keeps happening. It will constantly keep happening. You've got to keep practicing at it. The more you put effort into it, controlling your focus, your touch point, focusing on the touch point, releasing those emotions, releasing those thoughts, and being in charge of having just blissfulness inside your mind, quiet, peace, focus. The noise will come, release it, get it out, and then continue to focus. And the more you start practicing that, the longer you're going to be able to focus, and the better control you're going to have over your mind and your attention. It's an interesting phenomenon, right? And when you're doing that, when you're doing the opposite, when you're focusing on a place, your eyes are open and you're taking in peripheral vision and absorbing that peripheral vision and noise and everything, you're actually engaging parts of your memory and strengthening up your memory. And it's very, very awesome when you can remember where you left your keys every day. And you hate that feeling where you got your keys and you don't know where you put them, and it's just like, well, your working memory struggles, right, through all of this debilitating stuff that happens in our lives. And so we want to strengthen that working memory up. So one of these parts of this process is meditating and taking in peripheral vision. Peripheral vision helps to strengthen up your memory, but you've also got to be in control of that mind wandering. The more you can control the mind wandering when you're in this meditative state, the stronger you're going to be at controlling your focus. The more your brain is going to be in attentive mode, and you're going to be able to notice your phone's buzzing. Typically, your phone buzzes, you're like, oh, what's going on in my phone, right? You'll start noticing your phone will buzz, and instead of getting that impulse reaction, you'll be in control. You'll say, like, okay, my phone's buzzing. I have a choice. What am I going to do, right? And it won't be as addictive. It's very powerful and empowering. The next level up, let's go up here. Your 5 senses, right? Your senses are incredible tools, right? Your eyes, your ears, your nose, your mouth, your taste. Everything has the capacity to strengthen up your mind, right? We use these tools all the time. Mindfulness, right? Being in the moment, slowing down time, being in the deep now, right? Being present, ultimately utmost present, and using your senses to experience life, to experience the world around you, is very powerful to your mind. It rewires your mind and helps you to get control of this amazing machinery upside in your head. So using your senses, feeling, being in the moment and having texture, looking at something with texture, trees, sky, anything that's awe-inspiring, right? And taking it in, absorbing it, taking in a peripheral vision of that is very, very powerful, right? Eating, tasting, slow down when you're eating. It's an amazing experience when you can actually just sit there and just 100% be in the moment and experience that amazing, beautiful experience that you're having, the taste, the sensations, all those things that you can experience from eating, and you take it in. It really does a powerful thing to your mind. But in the meantime, at the same time, you need to be in control of those ruminations, that mind wandering. Take charge of it. Enjoy the moment. Learn to control that mind wandering. You're going to have so much more control over your mind, or your brain. The next one I think is a very, very powerful one, and a lot of our clients use this, especially when it comes to anxiety, especially when it comes to fear of failure, when it comes to concern about things or worry, that kind of stuff, doubt. The river of life is a very powerful meditation tool, right? You're going to come into meditation sometimes and you're going to have anxious feelings. You might be worried about the day, right? We do our meditation in the morning, you might be worried about the day. The day could drag on, right? I mean, the day could become really intense and you're worried about that, right? And you've got this anxious feeling. The river of life is a powerful tool that you can use to put everything on a river and let it float away. Right? Just let it float away. Your life is on this river, that anxiety and that frustration and all those emotions that you connect with, right? Because you've got to connect with these emotions. You've got to understand your anxiety, get your head around it, where it's coming from, how it feels. Put it onto the river and just let it float away on a river, right? Just let it float away on the water. But what you don't want to do is just leave it at that, right? Letting that anxiety float away. What you want to do is, and this is a very powerful context, is replace that anxiety with something, one of your power emotions, right? We're talking about emotions before. You take one of your positive emotions and you replace it. An emotion that you want to experience through the day. Confidence, motivation, whatever it is that you want to put in its place. You let that float away, you let that emotion go, and you replace it with confidence. You put confidence in its place, and you believe that confidence. You instill that confidence in you. I can tell you practice this, you're going to come out and you're going to notice that you don't have the usual anxiety. You don't have that usual stressful feeling because you've replaced that stress with something that you enjoy feeling, something that you want to feel. And you'll notice that for quite a while. Sometimes it will subside because you've got a lot going on, but you'll notice that initial engagement of getting rid of that stressful feeling or that negative emotion and putting something positive in place because you really spent the last 20 minutes or whatever working that emotion, that positive emotion into your system. And when you do that, you've rewired your brain, you've rewired the context, and you're going to create better neurochemistry, right? And that's what you want. Okay, next one, the invisible hand. Starts getting a little bit more advanced now, and the invisible hand is closing your eyes, taking your hand, and imagine touching every part of your body, right? You don't actually touch every part of your body. You imagine touching every part of your body, right? Your toes, your heels, your ankles, your calves, your knees, your shins, all these different parts of your body. You actually get engaged with your body and you're mindfully connecting with your entire body, right? through imagination. This is very, very powerful. It really creates a connection with your system, and you will be, it just does this amazing, wonderful thing to you, and it's really good for your focus and concentration. So as you're doing these, imagining you're touching the parts of your body, when the ruminations or the mind wandering comes into your mind, and you're doing this practice, you're really engaging your whole system, your imagination system, your perception system, and it's really taking control of that focus in such an incredible way. This is one of the most powerful tools. I use this the most because it has such a profound effect on being able to master focus, right? The next one is awe, nature awe, right? This is really about being in nature. If you can meditate around nature or somewhere where it's awe-inspiring, we're very fortunate where we're located. We get to watch an amazing sunrise every morning. The sun comes up. We see the sun's rays scattering through the clouds most mornings, and it's really awesome for us to sit out on our balcony and meditate and take in this amazing awesomeness of what this world has to offer, right? The sun through the sky, through the clouds, is just incredible. When you do that and you can absorb that nature, that majesty of nature, it really does really powerful things to your system that amplifies this whole process, right? So you're doing meditation, you're taking it. This is when I will spend time taking in a whole lot of peripheral vision. I'll be staring at one point, and staring is very powerful for your dopamine system to strengthen your focus. Staring in one place, trying not to blink. I talk about this in grit. By not blinking, you're really engaging your grit system, but you're peripherally taking in all this amazing view of the whole of nature, right? It's very, very powerful and does really good stuff, especially you taking in sun with that as well. So get into nature. It's what happens in nature is that nature vibrates at about 7.5 hertz, 7.8 hertz, right? If you're walking around in a forest, in a bush, or wherever there's a lot of nature, typically what happens is your vibration, the vibration in your mind, right, it can slow down to connect with nature, right? Nature helps you really slow down. So when you're in nature, it's very powerful to get into that mode of slowing down and get into your mind into that transient hyperfrontality. The next level up we talk about is it gets a bit more advanced, right? And this type of mindfulness starts getting very effective in terms of focus and can build a lot of other things like resilience and mood and all these other things that come with it. But we start putting in a bit of breathing with this, right? And so the 4-7-8 breathing is where you're breathing in shorter than you're breathing out. So you'll breathe in, it can be 7, count of 7, hold it for 4, and then breathe out for 8, which is longer than you breathed in. This really connects and slows down your autonomic nervous system and gets you into a really slow state where you can be in more control of your system. And when you're in control of your system, that's when the magic happens. So this is a really powerful meditative state that you can get into, and it's really a module for peak performance, right? Really can control your focus and learn. Once you've done all these other steps and you're building up to the advanced levels, you can get some effective use out of your meditation by starting to add breathing into it, right? Slow breathing. You don't want to notice the breathing as much as you want to be in control of your focus, but that breathing process helps to engage your system and slow down so that you can get more focused. The next one, which is similar, is a box cut. Box cut breathing is a square breathing, right? It's breathe in 1, 2, 3, 4, usually 4 by 4 by 4. So breathe in 4 breaths or heartbeats. People can hear their heartbeats. Hold it for 4, breathe out for 4, hold it for 4, breathe in for 4. Right? This box breathing creates a rhythm, right? And can get you into a really deep meditative state. And really, because you're focusing on that counting, right, you can get more control over your mind and the mind wandering, and you can take charge of it. But what also happens is that you're mastering your autonomic nervous system and there's an oxygen deficiency you're creating, which is really good, right, to get your carbon dioxide levels up. And I'll talk about that as well in further training. And the last one, which is one of the ones that I think is kind of really important, and we should be doing this a lot more, because as humans, we spend way too much of our time on our butts and way too much of our time on two legs, right? Very few of us spend time balancing, creating a context for our brain to feel different or to feel like it needs to work for something, right? So balancing, and you can do this in any kind of context you feel like you want to balancing, but balancing does an amazing thing to your entire system, because your brain has to think, you have to process, and you have to try and stay focused and keep control of your ruminations or your mind wandering, right? It's a bit more advanced level of doing this, so you can do it on one leg, however you want to do, but balancing. I've done it oftentimes riding on my bicycle with no hands, riding around balancing on my bike, or standing on a pole and just balancing and just focusing. Typically, most people won't be able to close their eyes. It's very hard to balance with your eyes closed. It's quite amusing. But if you can start working towards balancing with your eyes closed, you're going to be in so much control of your mind. It's going to be insane. Now, even I haven't been able to close my eyes for very long and balance. So it's something that you have to work on for quite a while. But it's a work in progress, and I do it with my eyes open. So I'll meditate balancing on one leg, right? And for a period of time, focusing on that, just staying balanced is very powerful, right? It's very powerful context. If you start losing focus, you start falling off balance. So you really notice that you've got to focus to stay balanced. And that power of that focus and keeping in control, it really escalates the effect of being in charge of your brain. So what happens when you're doing all this mindfulness, right, is you're literally rewiring your brain to allow you to get more impulse control, to allow you to be more in charge of your focus, right, so that it's not going all over the place. Now, this is one context of stuff that I've shown you tonight, right? These are very powerful tools. When practiced and done correctly, can change your life. Hands down, it's totally transformed my life, this part of the practice. And we've got 9 modules that we help people with to get charge of their lives so that they can be more focused, motivated, and confident. But this is where it starts. Now, I'll throw in some supplements that have been researched that can help with this. These supplements, and we talk a lot about supplements in our training, the right type of supplements, science-backed supplements, supplements that actually have proper effect and you're not wasting your money, right? So we go through a lot of research to understand what supplements are the best supplements to use out there to get focused, motivated, and confident. And we build the packages around them. These are some of the very more researched stuff for calm. And I'm a big advocate of these, use all of these supplements, and they've been very, very effective. Right, so SAMe. SAMe is really good. It needs to be refrigerated. It's a very powerful supplement. Now, when it comes to supplements, guys, you have to obviously get your own medical advice. I'm not a practitioner. I'm just telling you what the research says and what I use. It's up to you to make a qualified decision and speak to your practitioner about this, right? Now, SAMe is very, very effective for calm and mood, right? To keep you in a calm place, to be in charge of your stress. Vitamin D. We are all so vitamin D deficient. It's crazy that we don't have enough vitamin D in our systems, and so many people don't know it or don't care about it. And this vitamin deficiency is causing stress, causing distraction, causing overwhelm, causing deflation, because we're not upping those levels of vitamin D, which increases our moods, which helps us manage stress better and gives us in control of our system. One of the key ingredients I talk about a lot is vitamin D. Take vitamin D, especially if you're stuck in your office a lot, if you're not getting outside enough, if you're not getting enough sunlight, you need vitamin D. It's important. It's going to help you feel better. EPA, Fish oils. We all know fish oils, krill oils, that kind of stuff. You need to be getting it. It's insane how much deficiency we have of EPA, of fish oil, right? And when you get this in your system, you can there's a whole hormonal process that happens that helps you be more in charge of your body, right? I take a good bit of EPA before bed every night, and helps me sleep better, helps me feel better. It does so many incredible things in our biochemistry, and it's very necessary, right? I'm a big advocate for EPA, which is fish oils or krill oil, right? Krill oil is a higher potency, and I believe that's probably a much better choice to go towards. It can be more expensive. You can use fish oils, but EPA, you need to get more of it in. Next one for calm are adaptogens, right? One of the best adaptogens that I really think have been researched the most is ashwagandha. Ashwagandha is very awesome herb, and it really helps with calm. It helps with a lot of stress, mood, all kinds of things, and it's shown effectiveness and efficiency across the board. A lot of research done around it. It's one of our top choices of herbs to take, right? Ashwagandha. There's also rhodiosa. That's also really good. Rhodiosa, really good for mood and calm. Really, really helpful, right? These supplements that we talk about and that we select are supplements that you're not going to waste your money on. They've been certified by science. They've been researched by science, and they've got a lot of backing and a lot of research papers around them. That's why we specifically look into only certain types of supplements that work. So many people are wasting their time on supplements and these magic pills and potions and all kinds of nonsense, and there's no scientific data on them. And people are getting pulled in to all the marketing hype about them and wasting a lot of money. So we spend a lot of time finding the stuff that's effective and that works, right? Trying to do all of this yourself, right? Going and building up a strong mindset, working and creating this outcome where you can be focused, motivated, and confident, and doing by yourself is a tough gig. It can be. By doing it yourself, being an entrepreneur, going through business, trying to punch through life, making money, looking after our families and our lives, and that, it's a tough gig, right? We all know that it doesn't just happen that easy. You've got to put effort into it, right? And so we've created a process where we want to help entrepreneurs just like you, right? So you can feel more confident about everything that you're doing, to have support, have accountability, have a system and a process that helps you be able to get focused, to be more confident, to be motivated. These are big components to having success in life, right? Most of us are stuck in this dreary position of being overwhelmed, deflated, doubtful, fear of failure, foggy brain. And we go through our life accepting that that's how it's supposed to be. And it sucks. It's so invigorating and so inspiring when I see people realizing that they've got clarity again, where they feel so much better. They've got this energy and emotional control that they've never had before. This is what we're trying to help people with, right? And when you can get in charge of this stuff, your mindset, it's one of the most important things you can ever have. And I've talked about this, right? You need commitment to have success. You need systems, and you need confidence. These are the key criteria to having the life you want. It makes life so much easier. So going out there and building your dreams, right? Running a small business or running a business or an entrepreneur, working from home, building this future for you and your family, means you got to put effort in. You got to be on your game. You got to be sharp as a pin. Your brain needs to be functioning at its best, because when it does, that's when you're going to be able to perform and do the best and be the best version of you. Without having your brain firing at its best, you're letting your family down. You're letting yourself down, right? Everything should be focused on performing, having your brain performing at its best. And when you can do that, you're going to have the life that you want to have. You're going to feel good about what you're doing. You're going to be engaged. You're going to be able to create that fortune that you're looking to create. Now, we're helping people to get to that point, right? We're offering a mastermind, right? Now, mastermind is to get people together, like-minded people together, right? Entrepreneurs who work from home, typically, to be able to have a community where they've got accountability, right? There's nothing worse than trying to flounder through your days in your life without having accountability. Accountability is a very powerful motivator, right? If you know somebody is watching what you're doing, you're going to do something really good, right? If you know that you've got somebody who's got your back, you're going to do much better at something, right? So we jam pack our mastermind with accountability. We got tools, we got training, we got live events, we got retreats, we got community, we got coaching, right? All of these things are compacted into this mastermind. The mastermind is $2,997 for the year, and it's a package. You can come and join us, be part of this. We are only going to allow 99 people into this community, right? And we're already getting to a point where we're filling up. So only 99 people. That way we can service people better. We don't want to have, we've done it before, we've had thousands of people in our groups and it just gets out of hand. We want to keep it succinct so we can look after people. So if you want to be part of this mastermind, you want to connect with like-minded people, you want to grow your business faster, you want to get your mindset in a place where it should be, right? Where you know you want it to be, then come and connect with us. Sahara is going to put a link in the chat, right? The link is down below this video or in the chat. If you're watching this live on Facebook or YouTube, we'll be putting the link in the video very shortly, and you'll be able to come and connect with us. I'll show you what the page looks like when you go there. All right. So this is our booking page. You just catch up, click on the calendar, and you just fill in your details. Come and catch up with me. We'll have a catch up, and we'll work out a strategy and a plan for you, and see if this all fits, if it all works out for you, and would work with you to help you get to the point where you can scale your business faster, right? That's what ultimately our passion is about, is to help entrepreneurs who work from home scale their businesses faster. That's what we're all about. You can do that if you're focused, motivated, and confident, right? It's going to be a lot more easier. You want to get rid of that doubt, overwhelm, and foggy brain. You want to get that out of your life. Get in control of it, get in charge of your emotions, your mindset, and power up your life, right? There's a neuromastery system. You get a custom plan, right? Live events, retreats, tools, community, coaching, accountability, and all the support necessary to guarantee your business success, right? And we're very proud to be able to share this with people, and we want to see more people have success. Right now, small business is exploding. It's going nuts. More people are turning to entrepreneurship than ever before in history. This idea that only 3% of people have success in small businesses is absolutely ludicrous, right? More people these days are wanting to be part of this eco-environment and be looking after themselves, creating their own future and creating their own environments, right? It's going to happen much more easier, much more effectively if you're working with people that have already had success and can help you understand and navigate the things that you struggle with, right? So I thank you very much for spending time with me tonight. I know there was a lot. We went over a bit of time. Thanks that you stuck with me. I've got a lot of stuff to teach. I love it. I'm passionate about this stuff. So if you're interested and you want to be a part of this, come and catch up with me and let's have a chat. So Horace just put this in the thread, the link in the thread. So just catch up and come and chat with me, and we'll talk about how we can help you moving forward. Come and join the mastermind. It's going to be transformational. I can assure you we're about helping you achieve your goals in life. Thank you, guys. Have a lovely night. Talk to you again soon. Take care.